Hello everyone and welcome to my video. Today we're going to be talking about why Barcelona won't respect Messi's decision to leave FC Barcelona. Also the possible transfer of Wijnaldum, the departure of Rakitic and the potential departure of Suarez, Vidal and Umtiti. So first of all we're going to be talking about the meeting that took place yesterday between Jorge Messi and President Bartomeu with discussing the contract negotiations for Jorge to release Messi from his duties at FC Barcelona and President Bartomeu wanting Messi to extend his contract by 2 years. Now obviously that this meeting never went down very well with both of them butting heads and not coming to any sort of mutual ground. So there will be more meetings in the coming days to discuss these terms further. But Jorge has been at Leo's house today with having a meeting, so they'll probably discuss some new tactics and how they're going to be able to release him from his duties for probably for free. But that is never going to go down well with the current board because they want the full 700 million euros release clause, and Messi wants to go now for free rather than waste any more time. He wants this to go down as smooth as it possibly can. Now, I've got a feeling that it's not going to go down that road. I don't think that they're going to come down to any sort of mutual terms, and it's just going to have to come down to Messi staying at the club for the next season. And then after that, we will see what happens once we have a new board. But I could see Messi staying for his entire career now that he can't leave this summer because of the new board that will be coming in March. And you never know, with a successful season we could have Koeman stay on or we could have Xavi as the new manager, but this could be enough to sway Messi into staying for his entire career rather than leaving next summer, because I cannot see Messi wanting to leave. If this season is a success and he sees the potential in the next few years, what we could achieve as a club, I really don't think that he would want to pack up his bags and then just leave for Man City at the age of 34. I just don't see that being a reality after how long he's been at the club and after everything he's done and seen here. But if he does try to continue this further to leave the club, I think it's going to be very difficult for him, and it's a very high risk strategy to be taken to court, because if he does lose against Barcelona, he will have to pay the 700 million euros to release him from his contract, and he will lose weeks and months of his precious playing time that he does have left. Now, in other news, with the very possible transfer of Wijnaldum from Liverpool, he is getting some very mixed reviews whether he should be allowed to come to the club or not, because he is at the age of 29 and we have started this new rebuilding process where we're trying to force our aging players to move on and have a more backward substitute role at the club. Now, what do I think of his transfer to the club? I personally do not agree with him coming because, like I've said, he is 29 years old. I would prefer someone who was under the age of 25 who had great potential to grow into a role and grow into the Barcelona philosophy at the club. Because there was transfer rumours that did have our eyes set on Van de Beek, and he is 23 years old and he's now gone to Man United for I think 45 million euros. And I do not understand why we would not go for him rather than Wijnaldum. And a lot of people are saying that it's because Ronald Koeman's vision going forward would suit a player like Wijnaldum much better than someone like Van de Beek. But I still think that Van de Beek would be a much more suited Barcelona player than Wijnaldum. And also, we would have to offer Wijnaldum a very short contract, no more than 3 years, because we're going to have the exact same problems that we've had over the past couple of years with trying to offload older players with him if we were to offer him a 4 or 5 year contract. But there have been reports that Barcelona would not be willing to pay more than 15 million euros for Wijnaldum, and if we were to offer him a short-term deal, he could be a very good signing for Barcelona. And the same goes for Pjanic. Again, he's an aging player in midfield, which we've had problems with in the past. But if he wasn't on the highest wages and it's a short-term deal and we can get them for cheap, then it is going to be a good deal moving forward. Now to discuss Ivan Rakitic, who has now departed the club, who was probably in his final years one of the most controversial players at Barcelona, even though to begin with when he was signing for Barcelona, personally I was very, very excited by his arrival when he did come in 2014. I thought he was a very, very good addition to our midfield and did bring a lot to the team as a whole at Barcelona. But over the last couple of years of his career at Barcelona, he did deteriorate and his fitness just wasn't the same. I don't think his motivation was there either. He wasn't challenged at his role. He didn't have like a young player that was hungry to take his role from him. And I think that that was his downfall at the club. He also didn't want to leave Barcelona because he was on such high wages as he was, and that was what sort of flipped fans against him, that he didn't want to leave and he wasn't performing like he used to, and that was what really made him like a controversial player at the club. But nevertheless, he was a great player for us, and I do wish him all the best back at his former club at Sevilla. He probably will win another Europa. That will probably seal off the rest of his career, and he has had a very successful career for club and country. Now to Luis Suarez, who again, like Rakitic, who's deteriorated in his age over the past couple of years, who also hasn't had a player, a young, hungry player behind him who wanted his role. So he has also, in my opinion, got complacent at Barcelona. And he does have a number of teams who do want to sign him, such as Juventus, who are probably the front runner, and not far behind Ajax and PSG all want to sign him, as well as Atletico Madrid. But he still wants to stand firm and stay at Barcelona and take a lesser role and allow Griezmann as the number one striker at the club, which in the current predicament that we are financially, that we just simply cannot afford to be paying him €450,000 a week and have him sitting on the bench. That's something that's just not good for anyone. Yes, he would be able to come on as a sort of super sub because he still does have his shooting abilities, but he just doesn't have the legs quite as much as he did previously. Reports have also came out that Suarez would want Barcelona to pay an excess of 15 million euros for him to depart the club to go to another team, which of course is ludicrous and would never be allowed to happen. I don't know why he would ever ask that, especially with a team that he loves so much. And he's won every major honour with Barcelona and he's been paid very well over the past 6 years. So I just don't understand why he would ask that. Yes, he would have to take a pay cut if he was to go to one of these other clubs, and they would no way they would pay what he is being paid right now. But he is going to be turning 34 soon, so it's either Suarez is going to take a pay cut or he has to leave the club, probably for free or with variables like the Rakitic contract. Because if Rakitic gets a certain amount of appearances and qualifies for tournaments such as the Europa or Champions League, or is to win these sort of tournaments, then Barcelona will be entitled to several million euros. And I think that's what the Barcelona board will be trying to negotiate with Suarez and teams like Juventus. And also Vidal is on his way out and it looks like Inter Milan will be his destination, and I think that he would have left the club already if it were not for teams trying to snatch up all of our aging players for free. And I think that Barcelona will be trying to squeeze every million that they possibly can from these players. And I think that we would actually be able to get several million euros for these players if it was not for that 8-2 loss to Bayern Munich. And it wasn't so publicly obvious that we needed to offload all these players all at once. Now to the news surrounding Samuel Mtiti. I think that once the Suarez and Vidal situations are dealt with, I think that the next person who will be leaving the club will be him, because he has had several injuries in the past, and although he isn't one of the aging players that we just have not seen enough return from him. Even though the first two seasons with Barcelona he did show a lot of promise and great value for what we paid for him. But right now, I think that we do need to let him go and find someone else to fill that position, because right now, the only fairly young and fit centre back that we actually have is Longley. So I think we need to get what we can from Umtiti and then try and find the best possible prospect under 25, preferably, to try and fit that role for the long term for the next 5 to 10 years. That is all the latest news surrounding Messi and all the transfers within the club. So thank you for joining me on my video. Let me know what you thought of the video in the comments, and if you want to see what my views are on whether Messi should leave or stay at the club, you should check out my last video. Thank you, and I'll hopefully see you in the next one.